The Great Arbor of Prospera. In the center of Prospera stood the Great Arbor. For as long as anyone could remember, its branches had been bare, a gray skeleton against the sky. The town was quiet, its people moving without purpose. But one spring morning, Elian, the watchmaker, saw a single, perfect green leaf unfurl. He stopped, and for the first time in a long while he felt a flicker of hope. That one leaf was soon joined by a dozen more, then 100. A murmur of excitement rippled through Prospera. Shopkeepers unbolted their doors, and the sound of commerce returned to the streets. "The long winter is over," they told Elian as they passed his workshop. He smiled, feeling the town's hope blossom into bright, confident optimism. The arbor grew lush, and soon it was heavy with fruit of pure, shimmering gold. The sight drove the townsfolk wild. They no longer traded bread or cloth, they only wanted the golden fruit. Optimism twisted into something sharp and hungry. Greed. They shook the branches until they groaned, desperate for every last piece. Elian watched as his neighbors, once friends, now eyed each other with suspicion, counting the golden apples in their carts. They no longer spoke of the future, only of profit. The Great Arbor, once a symbol of hope, was now just a resource to be plundered, its branches sagging under the weight of their avarice. Then the fall began. A single golden fruit dropped from a high branch and turned to a puff of gray dust before it hit the ground. A hush fell over the square. A woman dropped the apple she was holding, and it too dissolved into nothing. A cold wave of fear washed through the crowd, the first crack in their golden fantasy. The fear spread faster than the greed had. People tried to offload their fruit for anything, a loaf of bread, an old coat, but no one was buying. The value was gone. Panic set in. One by one, the golden apples began to fall from the arbor, each one vanishing into a cloud of worthless dust. After the fruit, the leaves withered and fell, leaving the great arbor skeletal once more. A profound silence descended upon Prospera. Shops were shuttered, streets were empty. All the glittering wealth was gone, replaced by a heavy, suffocating despair. The town had forgotten how to be anything but rich, and now it was nothing. Elian walked through the quiet streets. The dust of the phantom fruit coated everything in a layer of gray. He passed his neighbors, who stared at the ground, unable to meet his eyes. The weight of their collective loss was a physical presence in the air. It felt as though the sun would never shine on Prospera again. Months passed. The tree remained bare. Yet Elian never stopped watching. One morning, after a soft rain, he saw it. A tiny green bud, nestled close to the trunk, almost too small to see. It was a fragile promise, a whisper of life in the overwhelming silence. And in Elian's chest, a familiar warmth flickered back to life. Hope. He knew the cycle would begin again. The hope would grow into optimism. The optimism might curdle into greed, which would inevitably sour into fear and despair. But as he watched the small leaf unfurl, Elian understood. The tree was not the cause of their fortune or their ruin. It was only a mirror, and like the seasons, the heart of the town would always, eventually, find its way back to spring.